Seahawks fans, hit that big red button that says subscribe. We're getting close to 19,000 subs currently, 18,921. If you guys can get to 19,000 subs in the next 24 hours, you will be the fastest channel in chat sports history to do it. I know you can do it. Don't let me down. Hit that big red button that says subscribe. Sup 12s, Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports. Let's get into the latest news and rumors around your Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to be kicking this show off here with a little bit of maybe sad news for some of y'all out there. The Seahawks have decided to move on from defensive tackle Jarran Reed. I know this is going to break some people's hearts because he has been a pretty solid player for this defense basically since he was drafted in the second round back in 2016. The biggest reason why that he ultimately is not going to be coming back to this football team, both sides could not agree on a long-term deal. Reed wanted to be paid a little bit higher, and he wanted that long-term contract. Seattle, on the other hand, saying, well, the salary cap's a little bit lower. We don't have as much money to be able to work with, so you're going to have to meet us in the middle. For everything that I read and everything that I studied up on, guess what? Reed wasn't able to do that, and also the Seahawks kind of made a lot of other moves, which is one of the biggest reasons why they didn't have some of the money that could ultimately bring him back. The other reason why Seattle didn't want to commit long-term, he is coming off injury, and he's just had surgery in late January. He posted that he's feeling better. I believe that he is going to be 100% healthy for the start of 2021 season. But at the end of the day, if you're not 100% sure on that, and if he wants a lot more money than what the market potentially is going to give him, I mean, I can understand that. But this is what Reed posted on his personal Twitter on March 26th. It's been real, 12s, or March 25th, excuse me. Tomorrow at 1, it's official. On to the next chapter. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is essentially when he is officially released. Now, Seattle is still taking calls in case they could potentially work out a trade. If you remember, they were able to work out a trade where they traded a 5th-round pick for Gabe Jackson. Potentially, you could see an NFL team pick up the phone, give Seattle a call, and say, hey, what do you want for Jarran Reed? Because if you'll take at least a 5th or a 6th-round pick, it's better than not getting anything in return. The issue is NFL teams know that he's about to be released, so that's not really a common thing in terms of being able then to go out and trade him. So what do you guys think here? How you feeling about the Reed release? I want you to go down in the comments section below and let me know how y'all are feeling. If you're angry, hey, I'm right there with you. If you're excited about the next chapter, hey, that's all good. He is a good defensive player. Let's not get it twisted. But if he's asking for big-time money, he's really only coming off of one really solid year. Now, in 2020, he had a pretty good year, right? Like, I mean, in terms of a grade, C+ type of grade, 38 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. The issue is, though, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride for Reed. Back in 2019, this is probably one of his worst years, no doubt about it. Only 27 tackles, 0 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 8 quarterback hits. Now, if you can give me the 2018 version of Jarran Reed, I'm a lot more intrigued. I'm listening. There's no doubt about it. 50 tackles, 12 tackles for a loss, 10.5 sacks for a defensive tackle. That's impressive. But the quarterback hits, that's what I really am looking at. And then when you look at his entire career, this is going all the way back to 2016, 194 tackles, the 22 tackles for loss, 22 sacks, 58 quarterback hits. When he's been healthy, he has been productive. But you have to admit, it has been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. So let's now look at the Seahawks defensive line depth chart with no more Reed. They also decided to give Poona Ford 2-year, $14 million contract, which, let's be real, that's where the defensive tackle money definitely should have gone. I'll see if Lattimore is ready to step up to the challenge and be a new starting defensive tackle. But they also went out. They got Hyder on a pretty solid deal here. 3 years, $16.5 million contract, and he's coming off his best season. There's no doubt about that. I'm a little bit intrigued on how Hyder kind of came out of nowhere, and maybe it has a little bit more to do with the San Francisco scheme and a lot of the defensive players around him. But if Hyder can do exactly what he did last season, Seahawks fans are going to be really excited. That wasn't the only move that they also made, though. Benson Mayowa. I love Benson Mayowa. He is a good player, and he knows exactly what his role is. He's not going to be the dude that goes out there and plays 50, 60% of the snaps. No, you put him in 30, 40% of the snaps, and your NASCAR package, I love using that term, but where he can pin his ears back and he can get after the quarterback. And that's exactly what Seattle did. So they basically put Hyder, they put Mayowa above a guy like Jarran Reed. So I'm curious here, y'all. Will Seattle go out and sign another defensive tackle? Will they bring somebody back? Or, I mean, the common theme has been this. They'll let go of a guy, and then they can get him on a restructured contract, and he come in cheaper. I don't see that happening with Reed. I could be wrong. So go down in the comments. Let me know, will the Seattle Seahawks go ahead and sign another defensive tackle? Seahawks Today is also on the Newsbreak app. So now, y'all, you can't have any excuses to miss any of our videos, plus stories around where you guys are living. That's what the Newsbreak app does. So all I want you to do is this. Go to chatsports.com/SeahawksNB. I'm going to say it again because maybe you were doing something else. Maybe you were paying attention. It's a new link. chatsports.com/SeahawksNB. I'm going to put that link in the comments. It's also going to be in the description. So once you go to that link, I want you to download the Newsbreak app. It's a freaking awesome app. It's not just keeping up to date with sports. Like, it's literally what's happening in your city, in your market area. Like, literally crime, politics, maybe good places to eat. Like, it has all that awesome stuff. And then once you download the Newsbreak app, give us a follow. Like, it helps us out a lot. We obviously are cranking out videos all the time for y'all, and sometimes we ask you to subscribe, do this and that, but this stuff helps us out a lot. So please, follow Seahawks Today on the Newsbreak app for content around your team and also content around where you guys are living. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. All right, let's get in now to more news and rumors here around Carlos Dunlap, because this man has re-signed to the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm really, really excited. When I saw Seattle let him go, I was like, okay, I understand the move because he would have been a $14 million cap hit, which is a big number for a team that was trying to be responsible with their money, and at the time, only $3 million of cap space. But they were able to bring him back, and that's something that I'm going to tip my cap to Pete Carroll. It's something that I really am happy that they're ultimately doing here, and shout out to Job Schneider. So agreed to a 2-year, $16.6 million deal with $8.5 million guaranteed. He was acquired last season with a trade with Cincinnati. They weren't using him. I know a lot of people were throwing out words like, oh, he's washed up, he's not good anymore. And I sat on here and I sat in a lot of places and I said, you know what? Give Carlos Dunlap a chance. He can still get it done. He doesn't want to be in Cincinnati. They didn't want him there. And you know what Seattle did? They used him the way that he should have been used. So what do you guys think about this? 2 years, $16.6 million, 8.5 guaranteed. I want you to go down in the comments and I want you to grade it. But be honest with me. Be honest with yourselves. He's over 30 years old. Are you a little bit worried that now that he got the bag? I shouldn't say the bag. He got a bag of cash, right? I mean, $8.5 million is pretty good. I want you to know, or let me know, your grade, A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give it a B-plus grade for the Dunlap deal. It's a major need, and he's also a good player who knows exactly what he is supposed to do. I know that they just got Hyder. I know that they have Benson Mayowa minus Poona Ford. Poona Ford's the best player that they have on that defensive line. And right now, since they couldn't bring back some other players, I might even mention he might be the best player on that defensive unit. But for Carlos Dunlap, the reason why I was really excited, he wanted to be there. His teammates wanted him there. And, I mean, look at Russell Wilson here. He's on Twitter. Let's go, at Carlos Dunlap's back. He didn't do that for a lot of other players. He tweets out some, Bible verses here and there. But at the end of the day, if your guy who is the leader of your team, he's tweeting that out, you can't tell me Seattle's not really happy about that. You can't tell me Seahawks fans aren't happy that Russell Wilson likes to move. Yeah, he does. And he should, because this is his numbers that he put up in 2020 with Seattle. 5 sacks, 14 quarterback hits. Those are the two numbers that I really, really want you guys to concentrate on. But he's been doing stuff like this his entire career. I mean, 504 tackles, 87.5 sacks, 109 tackles for loss, 62 pass breaks. I mean, this dude has been for a very, very long time one of the better defensive ends in the National Football League. So let's look now at the sack leaders in 2020. You moved on from Jarran Reed. You brought back Benson Mayowa. Carlos Dunlap had 5 sacks. Technically, he had 6 on the season, but I put 5 there because it was with Seattle. Alton Robinson with 4, and then Jamal Adams at safety with 9.5. So if you're the Seahawks, you're like, okay, how can I continue to try to get after the quarterback? Because this is a division that continues to get better and better. So you have Jamal Adams, you have Benson Mayowa, and now you have Carlos Dunlap back. The gang's kind of back together here. But the other reason why I know he was re-signed, he is still arguably the best defensive end on the roster. It was a great fit, and for a lot of these players, you need to find a great fit And if you can get a contract in a little bit of a down year in terms of cap space, I mean, that's a great deal. Leader on and off the field. You saw how excited Russell Wilson was. A lot of other Seahawks players, too. Very, very excited about this move. But be honest with me here, because if you go give Carlos Dunlap 2 years, $16.6 million, I'm very confident that you could have used that money to go out and get a guy like Jarran Reed. But let me know, who do you think is the better player for Seattle? Not overall, but for Seattle. You can type CD for Carlos Dunlap, type JR for Jarran Reed. I'm going to type CD, whether it's for Seattle or for any other team. I'm a big fan of Carlos Dunlap.